What if your personality isn't just who you are, but the strategy your psyche created to survive the world? Carl Jung didn't believe introversion or extroversion was about being shy or sociable. He believed it was about where your energy comes from and where it goes to die. And if you misunderstand which one you truly are, you can spend your whole life fighting your own nature. Today, we dive into the real meaning of introvert and extrovert, according to Carl Jung, and why it's far deeper than the modern cliches. We live in a world obsessed with personality categories. Online quizzes, social media labels, personality memes, everything tries to reduce us to simple boxes. But Jung warned against this oversimplification. For him, introversion and extroversion were fundamental orientations of consciousness, not preferences, not habits, not quirks, but the direction in which the psyche naturally flows. Modern culture says introverts avoid people, extroverts love parties. Jung says introverts turn inward to recharge their psychic energy. Extroverts turn outward toward people and the external world. This isn't about social skill. It's about psychic metabolism, the way your mind processes life itself. In this video, we're going to break down what Jung actually meant by introvert and extrovert, how these orientations create completely different internal worlds, why both personalities hold hidden strengths and hidden dangers, how knowing your true orientation changes your relationships, career, and self-understanding, and finally, how to find balance, Jung's ultimate goal for psychological wholeness. Let's begin. Most people misunderstand the word energy. They think introverts run out of energy around people, and extroverts gain energy from crowds. This is partly true, but Jung meant something deeper. Energy equals attention plus meaning plus desire, where you instinctively place your attention. What feels meaningful to you, and what pulls your desire forward. These form the true energy orientation of your psyche. Introverts. Their energy flows naturally toward the inner world. Thoughts, images, reflections, impressions. Their psyche is like a well, deep, still, and rich. Extroverts. Their energy flows toward the outer world, events, people, movement, possibilities. Their psyche is like a river, fast, dynamic, and outward moving. This is why Jung refused the idea that one is better. He believed both orientations were vital for humanity's psychological ecosystem. The key difference: an introvert experiences the external world as draining because it demands constant adaptation. An extrovert experiences the internal world as draining because it slows action and creates inner tension. Your psyche tries to survive by choosing the version that feels safer and more natural. For Jung, the introvert isn't someone who dislikes people. They're someone who is overstimulated by external demands because their inner world is already loud. Introverts, masters of depth. They notice subtlety. They feel nuance. They live in meaning more than in momentary experience. They can spend hours inside their own thoughts without feeling lonely because internal richness is their fuel. The introverted filter. Everything an introvert sees passes through a powerful internal filter. What does this mean for me? How does this connect to my internal reality? This inner filter makes introverts thoughtful but slow to react, insightful but sometimes misunderstood, sensitive to chaos, loyal to their inner truth, hard to persuade quickly. They need time to process. The introvert's shadow. Jung emphasized that each orientation has a shadow side. For introverts, the shadow emerges when they retreat so far inward that the external world becomes threatening or irrelevant. This can lead to overthinking, social withdrawal, emotional bottlenecks, difficulty expressing desires, feeling unseen or misunderstood. But the truth is, introverts often hide their greatness inside themselves. Their strengths shine when they learn to bring their internal richness outward. If introverts live in depth, extroverts live in motion. Extroverts don't look inward first because the external world offers clarity. Action reveals meaning. Engagement reveals identity. Extroverts, masters of expression, they thrive on interaction, collaboration, activity, feedback, newness, opportunity. They discover themselves through doing, not thinking. The extroverted filter. Everything an extrovert sees is evaluated as, how does this fit into the outer world? What can be done with this? What possibilities does this open? This outward focus creates strengths, quick adaptability, social magnetism, initiative, confidence in action, ability to navigate complexity through movement, the extrovert's shadow. But Jung warned, when extroverts lose balance, they drown in external stimulation. Their shadow includes burnout from constant activity, fear of being alone with their thoughts, overdependence on social validation, difficulty with self-reflection, impulsive decisions that lack depth. Extroverts shine when they learn to sit still just long enough to hear the whispers of the inner world they often ignore. The modern world confuses everything. People think introvert, shy, extrovert, confident, introvert, quiet, extrovert, talkative, introvert, low social skill, extrovert, high social skill. Jung would say, these are not personality types. These are symptoms of energy orientation. A shy extrovert exists. A person can love being around people but feel anxious initially. Their energy is still externally oriented. A social introvert exists. A person can enjoy socializing deeply and meaningfully, but too much stimulation drains their psychic energy. The real criterion, Jung's question, where does your mind go when it is free? Where do you return to in order to feel like yourself? That's your orientation. Culture made it worse. Because social media rewards extroversion, introverts often feel pressured to become something they're not, and vice versa. Jung believed this pressure creates psychological conflict. He argued that forcing a person against their natural orientation creates neurosis, exhaustion, and identity confusion. Here's where Jung goes beyond modern psychology. He believed you are not meant to stay purely introverted or extroverted. Your dominant orientation helps you survive early life. Your inferior orientation helps you grow into a whole human being. To Jung, the goal is individuation, becoming your fullest self. For the introvert, growth comes from learning to express ideas outwardly, trust the external world, take action on visions, communicate desires, build social bridges. For the extrovert, growth comes from learning to reflect inward, slow down, listen to intuition, connect with emotional depth, understand unreadable internal motives. Your opposite orientation is not your enemy. It's the doorway to your next evolution. Let's make this simple. Ask yourself these questions. After intense external activity, do you feel energized or depleted? Does your identity come from interaction or introspection? Do you prefer possibility or meaning? Do you think before acting or act to think? When stressed, do you withdraw inward or seek stimulation? Subtle indicators. Jung emphasized Introverts feel overwhelmed by rapid changes, prefer one-to-one conversations, need internal alignment before making decisions, have a vivid inner fantasy or thought life, notice emotional subtext more than behavior. Extroverts think best while speaking, often take leadership roles naturally, draw energy from movement and novelty, make decisions quickly and refine them later, feel empty or restless when isolated too long. You are not 100% one or the other. Jung insisted nobody is purely introverted or extroverted, but one orientation is always dominant, your psychic home. This is where introvert-extrovert differences create the most confusion. Introverts in love need emotional safety to open up, value deep conversations more than small talk, become loyal once they trust, communicate indirectly through actions, need more space than partners often expect. Extroverts in love express affection through enthusiasm and intensity, communicate openly and directly, value shared activities, want immediate feedback, need external engagement to feel connected. Common problems. Extrovert misreads introvert's need for space as rejection. Introvert misreads extrovert's excitement as too much. Extrovert talks to process emotions. Introvert withdraws to process. Extrovert may feel ignored. Introvert may feel overwhelmed. Jung's solution. Both partners must learn to speak the other's energetic language. Connection grows when the introvert stretches outward, the extrovert softens inward. Jung believed each orientation has unique strengths that can shape a life path. Introvert strengths: focus, deep thinking, creativity, insight, independence, emotional intelligence. Introverts excel in roles requiring depth, research, strategy, writing, design, analysis, long-form creativity. Extrovert strengths: leadership, social navigation, persuasion, adaptability, problem-solving in real time, team coordination. Extroverts excel in roles requiring speed, sales, management, entrepreneurship, performance, communication. The key to fulfillment: choose a path where your natural orientation becomes an asset, not a liability. But Jung believed true mastery happens when you integrate traits from your opposite orientation. The introverted thinker becomes unstoppable when they learn expression. The extroverted doer becomes powerful when they learn to reflect. Now let's make this actionable. If you're an introvert, practice making your inner world visible. Journaling, speaking, creating. Set external goals that pull your ideas into action. Build relationships, slowly but intentionally. Protect solitude, but don't use it as escape. Try small doses of stimulation to expand your tolerance. If you're an extrovert, schedule time to be alone and silent. Practice observing your emotions before acting. Build an inner life, reading, writing, introspecting. Don't confuse distraction with energy. Learn to sit with discomfort rather than moving away from it. Growth happens when you walk toward the part of yourself you've avoided. That is Jungian transformation. Jung never wanted introvert and extrovert to become cages. He wanted them to be mirrors, tools for self-knowledge. You are not defined by social behavior. You are defined by the direction of your psychic energy. If you are an introvert, your strength is depth. If you are an extrovert, your strength is connection. If you integrate both, your strength becomes wholeness. So ask yourself, where does your mind go when the world becomes quiet? Where does your soul feel at home? Where does your energy return when no one is watching? That is who you truly are. According to Carl Jung,